place right now. If you vote Democrat, I don't even want you around this church. You can get out. You can get out, you demon. You can get out, you baby butchering. I don't care how mad that makes you. You get pissed off as you want to. They are God-denying demons that butcher babies and hate this nation.
Christ is Lord, guys. Christ is Lord. Turn to Christ. Yeah, I'm just preaching Jesus, man. You know, Jesus Christ wins. Because, you know, abortion is murder, and that's all I gotta say about it. Abortion is murder, and God's gonna judge the country if we don't stop this. You know, if you want to go kill your babies, go to California where all the libtards are.
I wonder why we can't make more progress with abortion. I mean, that seemed effective. All right, what up? Today we are talking about abortion, so yay, this should be fun. So, but no, I do think it is an important conversation, and this is the driving question that I would like us to focus on when we have this conversation. And that is, do we care more about aesthetics than we do about being effective? Do we care more about how things look than how they are? We live in a very Instagram, whatever you want to call it, social media culture where it's all about aesthetics. It's all about how something looks. You know, people talk about people posting their highlight reels online, XYZ all the time. I think we might be a little deceived if we think that Christian culture, our culture, does not have is not suffering from the same thing, the same need to look a certain way. And I think one of the areas where we can really see this, if I'm being honest, is in the area of how we deal with abortion. The interesting thing to me when it comes to the topic of abortion, it seems to be like a perfect case study in marketing, because we're never really talking about abortion. We're talking about these little frameworked, marketed topics of I am pro-choice or I am pro-life. It's a lot easier for us to digest those titles. Instead of saying, are you for abortion? I can say, are you for a person's right to choose? Do you think that a woman should be able to choose what happens to her own body? Or do you think that the government should force a woman to have this type of surgery or procedure? Well, most human beings, when you put it that way, it was like, wow, well, I do think that a person should have autonomy over their own body and begin to choose. That's a lot easier argument to digest when it comes to the pro-life side, right? It's like, hey, do you think that a person should just be able to murder and kill babies? They're killing thousands of babies. Do you not have a problem with them killing babies? It's like, I guess we should. I mean, that sounds pretty bad. And so what happens is we build these caricatures of each other, and then we argue with the caricature. We argue with this overemphasized, over-exaggerated version of the opposing argument. If you're pro-choice, the common argument is that older white men are trying to tell women what they should do to their bodies. Well, statistically, that's not true. The country is actually almost split, not 50-50. I think most people consider themselves to be pro-choice, it looks like, in America. But it's not like 70-10, it's like 60-40. And all those people aren't men. There are a fair amount of women. There are a fair amount of women minorities that do not agree with abortion. It's not just this marketed topic, right? Or this marketed way of everyone who's against abortion is against abortion because they're trying to control your body and they're trying to just stop women. That's just factually not true. On the other side, every person who is pro Choice is not this anti-consequence, baby-killing, deprived murderer who just doesn't care about people or consequences. That's not true. It is some women who don't really know, like, what the freak am I gonna do with this? Who see no way out and see no good path for them or this child, and so this is the route they choose. And the question that I just want us to ask ourselves is, do we care about aesthetics or do we care about being effective? If we do we just care about posturing as being anti-abortion? Oh, look at me, I'm anti this. Or do we really care about impacting this issue in a productive way? Because if that's the case, then we have to ask ourselves, is the way that we're going about it really productive? Let's take a look at the state of Texas. I'm not throwing Texas under the bus. God bless Texas. My dad's in Texas. Texas is awesome, but they just serve as a great example in this case. Texas has one of the lowest rates of abortion in America. They also have some of the strictest laws against abortion in America. But when you look at Texas's numbers, what you begin to see is that Texas, yes, has one of the lowest rates of abortion in the country, but what is also happening is people just aren't having abortions in Texas. They're doing typically one of two things. They either go into another state that has better abortion laws, or they're having these illegal, even unsafer abortions that not only terminate the pregnancy, but also puts the mother's life at risk. So, again, not attacking Texas, just using this as an example. If I'm Texas, I can proclaim, look at me, look at my strict laws. I have one of the lowest rates of abortion in the country, but am I really stopping abortion, or am I just pushing it somewhere else so that I can feel like I've done something? I'm trying to think what the best way of saying this. I think that we love to change things that don't require us to change things about us. So it's like, if I can make it illegal for you to do, that's the thing we like to do. We like to manage sin or things that we, whatever, we like to manage sin versus really deal with it. We like to delegate it. It's like, okay, we don't agree with abortion. We think that abortion is wrong. Here's what I'll do. I will just make it illegal. And there we go. Jesus is happy. It's now illegal. And okay, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we'll stake everything in that. We'll compromise our character, we'll compromise integrity, just so we can say, look, I made abortion legal. Versus, if I don't agree with abortion, yes, I'll vote. I'll do the legislative things, but my emphasis is going to be on getting in people's lives. I think about Jesus with people like Mary Magdalene. It's interesting. You really don't see a lot, and I'm trying to think at all, the amount of times that Jesus criticized Rome. That he was like, Rome is doing all these debauchery things. Rome is really, really trash. We need to clean up Rome. We need to. No, the people that Jesus came to rebuke were the people that were supposed to be the Christians, and supposed to be the church of the time. Us, in our convenient theology, have kind of did this little what's our kung fu move, where now the world is the Pharisees and that we are the disciples. It's like, no, if in context, we would be considered the people. And Jesus didn't go into the freaking Colosseums and flip over the tables. He went into the synagogues. He went into the people that were supposed to be the believers. That was the behavior. Those were the people that he put the emphasis on correcting. And I believe, because Jesus knows, if we can get that right, that affects everything around us. I'm going to read this scripture. I'm going to try to be quick because this is the only point of this video, not to get into this, abortion debate and just add to the chaos, but for the believers who say that we are, against this, we believe that God is against abortion. This is what I'm challenging us to do, is to not focus on trying to posture and how things look, and to really inconvenience ourselves and to say, okay, how can we be effective? What is effective? Because if posturing and yelling and screaming was effective, then let's posture, yell, and scream. But it's not. It just makes people double down. Listen, we're going to do a video about race in America, which I'm sure will be greatly received. But, I've noticed racist people don't ever say that they're racist. Like, I never met one racist person who like call you all types of names, be like, you daggone blah, 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 blah. And then you be like, man, you seem racist. No, I'm not racist. I was just upset. It's like, nobody ever sees themselves as a villain. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you go and when you say, okay, you are a child murderer, you are this, you're this and that, all it does is make people double down and get even more defensive in the things that they already. It's just not effective. It's just not effective if we say that we care about really making change, and it takes more on our part to really sit back and look and say, okay, how can we be effective? I think about this scripture when Paul is talking to the Corinthians. Listen to what he says here. I wrote to you in that letter to not associate with sexually immoral people. By no means did I mean the sexually immoral people of this world, or the greedy people, or the swindlers, or the idolaters, since then you would have to depart from the world. But I have written to you not to associate with anyone, any so-called brother, if he's a sexually immoral person, a greedy person, or idolater, or an abusive person, or a drunkard, or a swindler. With such people, not even to eat. Here's the key verse. For what is it to me to judge those outside? Should you not judge those inside? But those outside, God will judge. Remove the evil person from among yourselves. When you look at God, when you look at Jesus, when you look at Scripture, the emphasis seems to be on us making sure that we are holy people, that we are focusing on what God has called us to do. Well, what are you saying? We should just let people go out there and kill babies? Okay, settle down. What I'm saying is, where is your Mary Magdalene? Where's the person in your neighborhood and in my neighborhood who is hurting, who needs help, that you became the hands and feet of Jesus to them? That you met their needs. That for the woman who is facing a tough decision with a child and doesn't see any hope, where is the emphasis? The emphasis on being that hope. I'm not saying, don't do the legislative thing. I'm just saying we overemphasize that part because it does not inconvenience us. It inconvenience me very little to just vote, and it can none at all to just vote and say, okay, check box. I think this is illegal, or I think we should make this illegal. But where the real power comes, where the real change comes, is when I give up of my time, my comfort, my whatever, to get into somebody's life and allow them to see hope through me. To see hope through me. Not through my posturing, not through my calling them names, but to really be hope. This is what people need. We look at our relationship with God, and he puts these laws in place, but God looks and sees. You can read this in Hebrews, I think it's chapter 9, or Hebrews 10. God looks at the law and sees that this is not sustaining. To try to affect the human heart through law is just not sustainable. It just does not happen. And what he saw, what he decided was love and community, love and relationship is what changes people's hearts, what changes people's mind. So that if we really care about making an impression, changing the world when it comes to the issue of abortion, then we need to be pro-relationship. We need to be pro-community. We need to be pro-love. This is how we change. This is how we impact. Again, where is our emphasis? Is our emphasis on looking a certain way or really being a certain way? Listen, we need to begin to have these uncomfortable conversations about, is what we're doing really effective? Is this really the best way? So I would encourage you guys to have this conversation. Here's another uncomfortable, probably conversation about why would God allow school shootings. Go ahead and check this out. Let's continue that conversation as well. Love you guys. Peace and blessings. We out.